Today I'm interviewing Greg Cesar. Greg, I just want to say thank you for allowing this interview. You told me beforehand that you really don't do interviews this much. I haven't really seen you on the internet in a few years. And I really look up to you because you're one of the few people that looks like me in internet marketing. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, yes. Thank you. My name is Greg Cesar. I'm the OG in the game. I started online 1998. I can't believe that I could literally say 1998 and wonder, where the heck the time has gone. But it's been fun. It's been a journey. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error. But I've actually been able to see the evolution of what the internet was, where it is today. And, my journey for me started with, I had a boss one day who told me, when I tell you to do something, you do it. And that was the day that I realized I was unemployable. And I decided I was going to take a leap of faith and start something on this internet thing everybody kept talking about. And, I burnt, like the Trojans, they burnt the horses and the boats. I had nothing else to fall back on. So it was either success or failure. And for me, I chose success, and that's got me to where I am today.
Okay. Well, so when you look at your success and considering where you are, um, what obstacles have you encountered?
Oh, there's always obstacles. uh, and actually, what I tell people is they're part of the process. I think people try to avoid obstacles. And it's funny, I was thinking about it this morning. Um, Success is on the other side of obstacles. People think success has to be before the obstacles. And I'm gonna tell you, if you don't have obstacles, you don't learn anything. Learning comes through the pain. And a lot of people think, I got to make this thing happen and without having any issues. So obstacles that I would tell you that I faced is, especially in the beginning, there weren't trainings to go to. There weren't seminars and webinars. I mean, webinars didn't even exist. That wasn't even a thing. So a lot of the things that I learned, it was through some trial and error. I started with not a dime. I didn't have any money. So I had to build a business, and I didn't have the money to build that business. So that's a huge obstacle. So I can't tell you how many times people tell me, oh, I can't do this, I don't have money, or I can't do this because I don't know how. I mean, that's where we were back then. Right now I sell products on Amazon, and I have a lot of people who say to me, when I'm teaching them, they'll say, oh, but I'm not a guru like you. I don't know any of that stuff. Well, I started in Amazon. I didn't know a single thing about Amazon. So we all start at the exact same place. The question is, what do you do when you see that obstacle? Do you look at it and make a U-turn, or do you look at it and say, okay, how do I get on the backside of it? And the obstacle is only an obstacle day one. And it's only an obstacle if you do nothing. If you try to figure out why it's an obstacle, you can overcome anything. Any problem that comes in your way, you can overcome.
Okay. And is there anything in particular that you found from the obstacle that you encountered as far as like a system or a method of handling and how you overcome an obstacle?
Yes. So, and this is something, I actually teach my students too. There's a saying that I say, anything that I don't know, who cares? I just need to know my outcome, and I can find somebody who does. So I'll say that again. Anything I don't know, who cares? I just need to know what my outcome is, and I can find somebody who does. In other words, I get hit with an obstacle. Let's say the obstacle is server's not working, or website is not working, or the conversion rate on the website is not working.
Okay.
So that's the problem. Now, the outcome, what is the outcome that I want? I want a website that's converting at X. I want a server that's doing X or doing whatever I need it to be able to do. So I know what my outcome is.
Okay.
If it's in product creation, I want to create I don't know, I want to make a chair. So what's my outcome? I want to have a chair, but I don't know how to make a chair. Now, the first thing I do is let me go find someone who's made a chair. Let me go find someone who's fixed the server. Let me go find someone who's getting good conversion rate on their website. I'll give you an example. Me and my buddy years ago were looking to do SEO services. And we were like, you know what? We really don't want to be selling SEO at $50 a month or $100 a month. It's just not enough money. So we said, we want to sell high end, like over $1,000, $2,000 per month. Except we've never sold SEO at $2,000 per month. I don't even know who to sell it to.
Okay.
So using my methodology, the first thing I said is, well, what is the outcome that I want? The outcome is I want to be able to find people who are willing to pay $4,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month for SEO. So I said, okay, well, how am I going to find those people? Well, they're already paying $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month for SEO. So what did I do? So we went out and found the companies that were charging that kind of price for SEO.
Okay.
So then I went into LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has a feature where you can find people who used to work at a company. Well, one of these companies was web.com.
All right.
So all I did was I went into web.com or into LinkedIn, and then I searched for the salespeople who used to work for web.com.
Okay.
Because I know those guys were selling $4,000 SEO services. So I found a guy, and then we said, listen, let me pay you for an hour of your time. I want you to teach me how you sold it, how you found them, and what did you say to them on the phone to get them to sign up? Now, you see, most people would have been stuck there. They would have said, well, this is a huge obstacle. I don't know what to do. And they'd never move forward past that. I said, here's this, it's an easy solution. Let me find somebody who's already done it. And let me pay the person for an hour of their time to teach me how to do it.
Okay.
So it's really that simple. So the process to getting over obstacles is just knowing what you want, and then either finding the path or finding someone who's already done it and can answer it for you. YouTube and Google is a great place to go when you have an obstacle. You know, you don't know how to do something, you go in and you go into Google and you don't search. What you do is you put your outcome in Google. And then Google will show you all the people who's doing that outcome for you.
Okay. All right. Would you say, or is it fair to say then that the effort, the energy, and the time placed in facing the obstacle makes it easier if that obstacle comes again, as far as to overcome?
So you're saying if the obstacle comes a second time?
Yes.
Well, by the second time, you're a pro. So it's much easier to set the second time around than the first time. But even the first time, like I said, I've never been in a position where I was stuck and had to walk away, ever. And it doesn't matter how hard it is. My son said to me one day, you think you can do anything? And I said, yeah, I can. And then he goes, well, then go to the moon. And I said, well, son, I don't want to go to the moon. But if I want to go to the moon, you'll see me on the moon come hell or high water. And look, now they're flying people to the moon. So I couldn't get, not the moon, to space. So I couldn't get to the moon in probably 20 years if I want to. But reality is, it's not something I wanted. But if it's something that I want, I'll get that outcome. And once I do it, I've learned. So then the next time, it's much easier. So, and as you go through that process, you ask yourself, okay, why was it a problem? What were the steps to fix it? Now, how do I avoid it for the next time? Or how do I put something in place to make it not a big issue? And I'll give you an example. I had a site that got hacked right before a webinar.
Okay.
So that's a huge problem, because now the people on the webinar can't buy.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with a solution really quick. And the solution was, I can't fix that hack before the webinar because I only got a couple hours. So the easiest solution, so my outcome was, so I have to ask myself, what is my outcome? So my outcome is, how do I get these people to buy onto the website, or get people to buy, but the website is down?
Yeah.
Fastest solution was, I need to throw up another website very fast. So bought a new domain name, and then I put that site up. I created an order link, and then I went into my PowerPoints and changed the links in my PowerPoint. It took me all about half hour to be able to do that. Now, to avoid this moving forward, because I said this could happen again. So I said, now moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a duplicate of my website on another server.
Oh.
So now moving forward, and what does that cost me? $8 a month. It's a very simple solution. So now moving forward, if that happened again, all I got to do is log in, change the DNS on the domain. In 30 seconds, new site is up. Hack is gone.
Okay.
So you see, I came up with a solution, and then it was like, okay, what do I need to do in case this happens again? So it's not a big problem. Because if that had happened 5 minutes before the webinar, I would have been screwed.
Okay.
So you plan for the future as well.
All right. Thanks. Now, my next question is, see, how do I put this? Do you believe that by overcoming an obstacle, that the energy and effort that was spent on overcoming the obstacles shortens the amount of time for the obstacle and can then be refocused and used in obtaining the original goal?
So does the energy, the energy that you put into it is part of that learning process. It's like, imagine, you go to the gym, but you don't lift weights, right? To build that muscle, it's gotta hurt. So there is some pain there. So I think the energy that you put into it makes you better at what you're doing. Right.
Okay.
So some of those struggles that you feel like, man, how do I get this website to convert? Man, how do I got zero traffic? Or man, I paid Google $100 for ads, but I got zero from it. Right. So that pain is what teaches you and helps you become better at what you're doing. Because once I figure out what was the cause of that pain, why is it I spent that money in Google and it didn't give me any results? And then I realized, oh, it's the type of keywords. Those type of keywords don't work. Well, guess what? Now I know moving forward, this is the type of keywords I need to avoid no matter what niche I am in. I got to avoid those type of keywords. So that pain, the obstacle, and the energy that you put into it, it's not only that it's helping you overcome it now, but it's that learning curve that makes you so much better at whatever you're doing, right? So imagine, you're a runner and you pull a calf muscle, and because you didn't stretch, right? Well, guess what you learned? I need to stretch. And I know because I've been running and I kept pulling my calf muscle. Then I said, all right, I need to start stretching in the right way before I run. So guess what I did? I said, well, how do I prevent calf injuries? That was my search. That was my outcome.
Okay.
And once I figured that, I did the research, haven't pulled the calf muscle since. Let me knock on some wood. So that pain made me a better runner, but it also helped me avoid that problem moving forward. So you just need that process to become better at what you're doing.
Okay. It sounds like what you're saying, that it is better to confront and deal with an obstacle as compared to, and instead of avoiding it or going around it. Is that true?
Yes, because if you can avoid it and go around it, it ain't gonna fix the problem, right? And not only does it not fix the problem, you didn't learn anything. And by the way, sometimes fixing that obstacle, it doesn't mean you've got to do the work. You can find somebody to solve that problem. Now, even if I find someone to solve that problem, my question to them is, okay, so how did you do it? What was the issue and how did you fix it? So I still have to learn what was going on, because again, if it comes up again, I don't want to be at the same exact position I was before. I want to be able to say, hey, this is what happened. This is how you fixed it last time. Let's do the same thing again. So even if I outsource that work, I have to learn what it was, because again, I'm always trying to make me a better person. There's a thing that I say is, like in marketing, is marketing your hobby or your craft? And to me, marketing is not a hobby, it's my craft. So I have to learn as much as possible, even if I'm outsourcing that work to someone. I got to know what they did and how they did it, even though they're the ones that was doing the work.
Okay. Hey, Greg, this has been a great interview. I want to thank you for your time. And
Oh, absolutely.
you really shared some golden nuggets in this interview, especially, and I love the examples that you've given, especially because you said find the person who has done what it is that you want to accomplish. And once you find that person, you said you can even find it on video from doing search or material online. You don't have to create the material. Find out what it is, what their process and the systems that they're using to accomplish that goal, and to learn to do the same so that it works for you. Hey, I appreciate that.
100%.
Now, for anybody that's watching this video, is there any final words and offer a way that they can contact you to get more information in regards to what you're doing and join your tribe?
Yeah, we're actually working on our new site, which is a branded site. It's going to be gregcesar.com, and that's GREGCESAR.com. And they can go there and follow me. We should be finishing with that site relatively soon. And, you know, the thing I'll say is this: everything that we're doing, it's much easier than people realize that it is. And it took me, I'm gonna tell you what, marketing was hard for me until I realized that it was easy.
How so?
It, I'll tell you how. I met a guy who was selling something, and I said to him, you know, he said basically he sold $2 million worth of products in 4 months.
Wow.
And I said, what the heck did you sell that you sold that much? And basically what he did was, this is, you know, 20 years ago, he took his bookmarks from his computer, his marketing bookmarks,
Okay.
saved them on a CD, and he sold them. And I said, people paid you for your bookmarks? And he goes, yeah. So up until then, I thought it had to be hard and complex things. That's where the money is. And sure, there's money in the complexity of things, but it doesn't have to be, right? There's money in the simplistic. There's money in figuring out, well, what's the easier path to get to where I want to go? And so I find that a lot of marketers and people who want to get into business, they think it has to be hard. And the formula is simple. I'm gonna tell you what the formula is.
Okay.
Find what people want and you give it to them. If they aren't buying, they don't want it. Plain and simple. You find what people want and then you make them an offer to buy it. Now, if some people are buying it, not everyone, that means, okay, we got to fix our offer. The price may be wrong or something like that. But if no one's buying it, like if I put an offer to sell some widget for $20, I drive 200 people to and by the way, you only need to drive 100 people to your website to find out whether they want it or not, right? So if I run an ad on Google, I'm spending 10 cents a click, 20 cents a click. That's $20. From that $20, I can make a decision on, is there a problem with my ad or is there a problem with the offer? Now, here's how I test the offer. I say, okay, I didn't make any sales. Let me give it for free and see what happens. And you know what happens when you put it for free and they didn't want it? They don't want the product.
Okay.
So now, how do I test that ahead of time? You know what I do? I do a survey. I ask people, hey, I'm about to sell this, $20, or tell me what you want to see in it, right? And when they tell me or ask me a question about it, that's how I create the product. So you see what I'm doing is I'm finding out before I create the product, should I create the product? Most people spend 6 months working on a product. Then they go out and say, I wonder why nobody's buying this thing. I know before I spent 5 seconds whether I should make it or not.
Okay.
So the marketplace will tell me. So that's why I say it's much easier than people think it is, because once you do that little bit of research, you find out whether you should create it or not. Then you create it. They just told you they wanted it. And if they told you they wanted it, what does that tell you? You already know how to reach them. Now, when I get the product, I go back to the same people and say, hey, remember that thing you said you was interested in? Here it is. So boom, you go right into sales. So much easier than most people think it is. And I think once people get that epiphany, what happens is there's a switch in your brain.
Okay.
Because the brain now says, this is not something I can't do. And once you tell your brain you can't do it, your brain's going to find every reason why you can't. This becomes, oh, this is something I can do. And once your brain believes that, your brain starts to look for the reasons why you can do it. I give the example of the stoplight.
Okay.
Right? If you come up to a stoplight and it's yellow, if you believe you can make it, what do?
You keep going.
Hit the gas. If you believe you ain't gonna make the light, what do? You hit the brakes. So you see, once you get it in your mind that, oh, this is something that I can do, your brain tells you to hit the gas. You're going to start doing the things because you believe you can do it now. So belief is a very, very important piece of that process. Otherwise, your brain is hitting the brakes every single day of your life, telling you, I can't do it. It's not going to work. I can't do it. It's not going to work. Right?
Yeah.
And or here's another one. It's hard. Oh my God. The minute you tell your brain it's hard, is a wrap. It's done. You might as well just go outside and go play hoops or do something, because your brain ain't gonna let you do the work. So, and I'm living proof. I've been there. I was on that side when I thought it was hard. I was on that side when I thought it was impossible. And I've been on the side where I'm like, oh, you mean all I gotta do is send this email? I can do that. So and I've watched people make stupid money on stupid ideas, but it was just they had the guts to do it. I mean, look at the guy who sold a pet rock. He sold a rock in a box, made millions selling a rock in a box. You want to know why? Because he didn't tell himself it didn't work. He told himself they're gonna buy it, and they did. So now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have never sold a rock in a box. I wouldn't have thought that would work. But that's how it is.
Okay. Again, Greg Cesar, the man. Thank you very much for this interview. I really do appreciate it. Hey, I owe you one.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.
All right.